And a good morning to you, Lagos. You're tuned in and listening to Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98. Right now it's 6:45, which means it's time to talk business inside Business Express. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Folu. Good morning, Lagos City.
Excellent. Lagos City, please join the conversation simply by sending us a message on Twitter using the hashtag BusinessExpress981, or you can send us lengthier messages to our WhatsApp number, that's 0809 4440981. And last but not least, we're streaming live on YouTube right now, so go over to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos.
Thank you. I want to welcome two-thirds of the Horsemen in the studio, Bolarinwa and Nwanne. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Rotus. Good morning, Lagos.
Morning, Lagos.
All right. Welcome. So, Lagos, 7 days of losses now on the exchange. 0.13% is where we closed yesterday, 35,399.2 points. We are down by 7.4% so far this year. Market cap is at 12.9 trillion naira. We are 26 losers, 14 gainers yesterday. So 14 stocks gained in value, 26 lost. Top gainer was Eternal PLC. Very interesting coincidence in the losers. Mutual Benefit Assurance and Union Diagnostics, they both lost 9.09%. And they both closed at 30 kobo a share. Very interesting. So the top losers at the exact same share price that closed. All right, gentlemen, let us hop into our stories. The SEC has extended the multiple subscription deadline to December 31st. Bolarinwa, let's help out our listeners with what's going on here. What was the SEC saying? There's something about ownership of shares, multiple identifications.
That people should those that did multiple subscription with different names.
Right. When they bought shares,
when they bought, have maintained that position since that happened. That I think this has been on for quite a while. Yeah. That they should come and regularize.
And there's no punishment. They said
there's no punishment. You don't more. Go and see no more. So I think most of this multiple subscription happened during the consolidation that happened in 2004 in banking sector.
Okay.
And insurance space, 2004 to 2007.
Okay.
Where we had a lot of people jumped into the market using different vehicles, different names for subscription, and after that event happened, since that event happened, they have not regularized, and that has precluded them from having access to their dividends.
Right.
And also taking ownership of those shares.
Okay.
So those shares have been warehoused by the SEC ever since then, and also dividends also have also been warehoused since then. So SEC is saying, we don't want to keep your money again.
Right.
Come and take ownership of your shares. There's not going to be penalty for this. And you will gain access back to you.
Back to that.
But I hope some are not late.
Right.
So
I was wondering if we should get into why people will be using different names to buy shares. But maybe we should leave that matter alone. Let's just leave that alone and move on. So if you've bought shares in different names, if you just go and regularize, put everything together.
He's simply trying to circumvent rules.
Right. Exactly.
The market rules. I think that's simply what it is. So typically you are expected that you would. When you have acquired up to 5% of stake in a company, you are expected to disclose to the company. So other than people going that route, they would rather use different vehicles to acquire as much as they can and consolidate. But the regulator also every time try to stay ahead of the curve, and this practice has been identified in the market, and so it's in the board, and that's the reason why this rule came to the fore. That
you should be a media professional. That was really good. What you did right there. Yeah, if you're on camera, then you know. So let's move on to the minimum wage. Nwanne, we're coming to you right now. Nwanne, the federal government has made an announcement about an announcement. Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Christian Giye, has said that there's going to be an announcement made about when minimum wage is going to be increased. So, Nwanne, I think this new, let's leave that. What do you think?
I'm still part of the cynical people.
Oh, yeah,
I would have said, but someone like me would have said earlier. probably not 2016, probably in 2017. The issue there is the clamor has been from 18% to 56. I've said 18,000 naira to around 56,000 naira.
Right.
That's tremendous jump. I don't know who can afford that, whether state or even FG can, because you know that in 2017 we're seeing a lot of bailouts for states.
Okay.
Those things will come to play. But let's hope it's a positive thing for workers.
Right.
But
Who are still being owed salaries by states,
yes,
by the way.
Yeah, so the issue there is whether state government or federal government can fund it. When you know that FG is even doing a lot of Euro bonds to even reduce interest rates.
Right. Bolarinwa, thoughts on the
For me, I think this is good news to federal government workers, but down to the state level, I don't know how this. I mean the leadership at the state level, in terms of creativity and productivity, lacking. So I don't know how they are going to raise funds to be able to fund this, if they, because this is going to be a significant leap. At some point earlier this year, the NSC threatened that something has to be done with regards to the minimum wage. The last time we saw an increase was in 2011, and this is just about 7 years after. So they are clamoring for an increase. The case that the NLC is making is valid, because if you look at the trend since 2011 up to now, you will see that there's been significant changes. Inflation has gone up, exchange rate has changed. So what you were earning in 2011 and you're still earning in 2018 is far lower than what you were earning in the actual value.
Right.
So they have a case requesting for an increase, but the challenge is, can the entire federation afford it? Maybe the federal government can afford it. They have the might to raise to issue instruments to raise additional funding, but I don't know if the governments that are owing salary at the current levels can afford it. So that is where the challenge is.
All right.
We have several messages coming in talking about this minimum wage. Gwenga Kamu says it is proper to increase the minimum wage, but who will pay? And if political office holders, however, cut down their excesses, then maybe there will be a way. Very interesting. Jibs from Lagos says, guys, I noticed that most commercial paper offers usually require a minimum investment sum of 5 million. Please, is there a way smaller amount that can be pulled together from different investors in order to invest in CPs, just as it obtains in NTBs, where the official minimum investment is 50 million?
That's from Jibs. I don't think so. I believe that the only way you can do that is through a mutual fund that invests in the money market. So if you go through a mutual fund, they can pull your money together and then buy into some of these CPs. So
that's the essence of those funds. To grant you access to instrument that you typically wouldn't have
afford on your own. So mutual funds is probably the best way to go. But we've talked about this. Didn't we talk about this last week? With the mutual funds, you do want to make sure, at least try and ask them what they're investing in, so you can see where the funds are going. So mutual funds are your best bet.
Okay, well, Oluzil says, a good move by SEC, perhaps in anticipation of the NTN IPO. Great day, guys. One broker, one CSCS, one investor.
That's a line you threw in there. Thank you for the message. Okay, Gwenga Kamo also threw in a message there talking about somebody told him to wait until January to buy stocks. Again, you talk to a broker, Gwenga, to do your due diligence. But I think with the market being down, it's a good idea to at least in bits and pieces accumulate small shares now, because things could improve after the election.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's looking for the average at the end of the day. Right. So you buy bit by bit, so that at the end of the day you have the average position is profitable for you.
For me, I think it's knowing how low will the stock market go.
Right.
So that when your entry point.
All right, so bring bits and pieces. Okay, shout out to Ganu on Twitter. He sent me this story yesterday. I didn't have time to touch on it, so let's quickly hop on this. For Lagos Light Rail to begin operation in 2022. So this is regarding the Blue Line, which I believe Bolarinwa, they had this deal with Ghana Civil Engineering Construction Corporation since
2008.
2008, yeah. So
it was due for initial completion 2011. They moved it from there to 2015. And we are talking about 2022.
So it's Yeah. So now,
Well, great things are happening, are going to happen in 2022.
I know,
The other story also talks about 2022. So Lagos,
we should prepare.
be expectant in 2022. We hope that all of this crystallize as planned. But the truth is, input at the time that this project was conceived was compared to what it is today is not the same. So we have a system whereby we don't think through our ideas before we embark on implementation. I don't know the reason why this project came to light, and we've not really during the period that this project was conceived up to 2011 that it was supposed to commence operations, revenues were still good.
Right.
And it just really doesn't make sense with the kind of delays that we've had in this project. It will have significantly changed the traffic condition in Lagos, because that was the whole essence of it. It will diversify the traffic mix from just the road, the waterways, and all. It will change the entire picture. But unfortunately, we've dragged in our usual way.
For me, why change from China to?
I think it's Alstom. Yeah, that's the name of the company, a French company. Yeah.
Because the Chinese company, they did something in Kenya.
Right.
It took them less than 4 years to complete.
But Nigeria's one must take 18 years. All right.
Well, we've got a few messages still coming in. Olaolu Akiola up on our live stream says, "Hi, Rotus. I hear you when you say that we should ask investment firms for the portfolio of the mutual funds, but they will always refuse to disclose. Can one still insist on getting this info from these firms?"
Yeah, I see. Akiola, yes, that's a good point. I can't start mentioning names here, but there are some firms, if you press them and ask them what they're investing in, they can actually tell you that, okay, some percentage of what we invest in is in mutual funds, some in money market. So you can get an idea. If you press them, yes. So if they don't want to tell you, then you don't invest your money with them.
Absolutely. Just make them, fight for your business.
Exactly.
Well, we've got this coming in on WhatsApp from Yemi. Yemi says, "Isn't it counterintuitive that we're trying to curb multiple identities in the stock market and we're not using existing structures like the BVN?"
Yemi, I tire this data issue. Okay, Bolarinwa already mentioned it. Should we jump there?
Yeah,
the other 2020. Isn't there a World Cup in 2022? Qatar.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, so the rumor.
Another oil.
Exactly, another oil rich company. Dangote's refinery. Again, this is a rumor about Reuters broke the story. They said his refinery has been delayed operations until 2022. So another 2022. Bolarinwa, what's happening here?
Dangote, the project promoter of Dangote Refinery, said they're going to complete the project in 2020.
Yeah.
But a market observer has noted that it is unlikely that they will complete it in 2020. That the earliest time that this project will see the light of the day is 2022. Who should we believe? That's
exactly. Either the expert who is involved in construction of these things or the promoter of the project.
For me, I was thinking since Yemi Osibanjo, the acting president, came around.
Yes.
Minister of State.
Yes, they all came around to commission it.
I was thinking that there's some level of integration and at least it comes to light in 20. And they gave us a timeline, 2019.
Right, exactly. We shall see.
Well, let's see. Listen, magical things happen, but sometimes observers from outside can't comprehend how we function. We just function. Let's round up with a couple of messages. Abajimi sent in this one just not when the world will come to an end.
I hope not. Thank you for your message.
And Binka Kamu says, "I expect that the Lagos government ought to have pulled resources together to finish that blue rail, but every government likes to."
Nwanne and Bolarinwa of the Horsemen, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys, and for all of you who are out there watching us on the live stream, we appreciate you also. If you just joined us, you can catch a replay of everything that was discussed this morning by just subscribing to our YouTube channel. But coming up next at 7:30, we'll be taking a look at detailed newspaper analysis inside Freshly Pressed. Good morning, Lagos.